Two meetings, two wild nights on track. At Cowdenbeath Heat 1 kicks off with a spin and we just miss it. In the final it's more chaos and another close call. Then at Crimond we're off the pace, struggling to catch the low graders. Now, when it comes to brakes and Pro Stock basics, the rules are clear and strict to ensure fairness and safety. Braking systems must remain as manufactured within the range of car being used. This means no fancy modifications or upgrades beyond what's originally intended for that car model. All four wheels must have working brakes, no exceptions. If you're missing even one, you're not race ready. And don't forget the handbrake, it's not just for parking, it must be fully functional and in proper working order. These rules help keep competition even and ensure all cars can stop as safely as they can race. Driving out for Heat 1, the track looks nice and dry, with the odd puddle on the very inside. We line up in graded order as we came out the pits. I get a great start, passing Martin Joy in the 698 car before the end of the straight. However, just ahead, the red tops are getting stuck in already, and Joanne Hilditch in the 700 car receives a tap from 680 Jamie Reid as she spins towards the infield coming onto the home straight. Luckily, we narrowly avoid the 700 car as she bounces off the marker tyres. The field is starting to bunch up ahead of me, so I'm just constantly trying to watch quarter of a lap ahead so I know what's going on before I get there. We make the inside pass on the 688 car and now look to hunt down 680, who's getting into a battle with 363 and 14. With 680 making the move round outside of 14 James Payton, I knew I couldn't waste time and go straight to the outside of the 14 car. Along the home straight, 680 and 843 leave the perfect gap for me to dive through, and I get up the inside of 680 going into the turnstile bend. .363 runs a little wide coming into the pit bend, but we don't have quite enough to get up the inside of him. Not the best result for me in that one, but it's in the point. A couple of tweaks to the tyre pressures and we try again. So now lining up for Heat 2, the grid will be reversed. If you were at the front of your grade in Heat 1, you will now be at the back of your grade in Heat 2. Not as good a start for me in this heat, however with the national points being between 348 and me as it stands, I just look to stick with him and minimise any points he could gain over me. Eight, 4, 3 and 43 have a tangle on turns 3 and 4. This allows us up the inside of 680 Jamie Reid. A little bit of rub and racing with 363 Kai Chisholm along the back straight, but we're through for 10th place. Up ahead I can see 700 has got in front of 348 as they battle it out for 8th place. With a clear track between us, I get my head down and look to close the gap. With only 5 laps to go, I've closed right in with the rest of the pack. 4 and 348 are battling it out, and as I get closer I'm trying to work out where I might be able to make a move. .348 makes an outside pass on the number 4 Gale Payton car. If I want to stay with him, I have to follow him. Six, 9, 8 and 14 get left out to dry on the outside line as a train of cars comes up their inside. On the final lap, the onboard camera gives up. However, I'm still looking for a gap in 348, and on the last corner I tried to make it stick on the outside, I just don't have enough to get near him. I crossed the line in 8th place, however 348 was removed from the result after post-race checks due to an issue with his brake. This promoted me up to 7th. So it's now time for the final, and as you can see we line up against the wall. We then get called forward in points order in grade. Both cameras decided not to work for us in this race, so here's the footage we did catch. Off the line we get a great start and make our way around the outside of 698 into the first bend. Coming onto the back straight, the 698 car clips the rear wheel, sending us into the start of a spin. We managed to control this however and continue without losing too much time. Coming along the back straight, 363 Kai Chisholm moves to the inside, so I take a look around the outside line. Up ahead though, 16 and 700 have a coming together, and 363 ends up going straight into the back of the 700 car. I just make it by without getting caught up. On the restart, 680 gets up the inside of 331, however she manages to get back onto the inside line before I can get into the gap 680 created. Another restart, and this time we waste no time getting up the inside of the 331 car and start chasing down the 680 car. Coming on to the back straight, 680 for some reason touches the brakes, which gives us a chance to get up his inside. As our battle with 680 continues, the camera decided to give up. In the end we finished in 6th place, an average night but finishing with points in all 3 races. We now move on to Crimond Raceway on the 3rd of May. With no red roofs, it was going to be another challenging day at the office trying to catch the quick cars at the front. Crimond Raceway is now in its 55th season of racing. It is the most northerly stock car track in the UK. Unique for its tyre wall around the track, the straights at Crimond are wider and shorter than at Cowdenbeath, and the corners are a lot tighter, making for some excellent racing in all formulas. Now as you can see here, we are starting to gain on the 171 car of Claire Wood. However, as we're approaching, we're trying to work out the quickest way to get past, so that we can get through and start chasing down the cars that are further up. Coming round turns 1 and 2, clear wood slides slightly wide, giving us enough room to get up the inside and through for position. As we come along the home straight, we're trying to set our sail up to get up the inside of the 51 car into the pit bend. Halfway around the corner and we've made the move stick. We're through for 6th position. The 331 car runs really wide on the pit bend, allowing 741, 81 and myself up the inside. We're now on the back of the 81 car, and with him holding the inside line, we look for a move round the outside. After a couple of laps on the outside, we finally make the move stick and get through for 4th place. So a 4th place finish in Heat 1, and with the top 3 all being on the pace, there was just no chance of getting near them without a yellow flag. So setting off for Heat 2, we just look to catch up with the pack as fast as we can to give ourselves as much opportunity to get up the grid. On the pit bend, 309 and 331 have a collision, taking 309 out of the race with a puncture. Coming into the pit bend, 171 leaves a gap on the inside, so we take the opportunity and get by. We're now making our way around the outside of the 331 car, however coming into the track drop bend, she runs in way too hot and runs us right out to the tyres, almost taking us straight in. So at the halfway point we are a long way back in the front of the field. We've got a lot of work to do to catch up. With just over 2 laps left, we've caught up with the 81 and 51 car, and we're trying to make a move work round the outside of Kelly Gordon. So on this occasion the outside line didn't work, we couldn't get around Kelly Gordon. We come home in 5th position, and we move on to the final to try and get some more points in the bag. With 102 now up to yellow after winning the first 2 heats, I was really hoping the rest of the yellows and blues would battle it out and hold each other up, allowing me to get up into the mix. I've caught up with the 171 car, and I'm now trying to make a move work round the outside. The 331 car kinda gets in the way here, and I have to back off and tuck back in behind 171, but on the back straight we're back to looking around that outside line. With the outside line again failing to work, we go for a little switchback, and as the 171 car slides wide on turn 4, we dive back up the inside and set ourselves up for a pass on the next bend. We again find ourselves a long way back from the rest of the pack, so we've got a lot of work to do to catch up with the 81 car and 309 car. Now we've caught up with the 81 car, we're looking to make a move round the outside. The 81 car seems to dip an awful lot on that outside and it's causing him to push on quite a bit. This makes it difficult to get around the outside, as when you're coming into the corners he is pushing on out of that inside line. Now as you can see here, he's way off the inside line with that car pushing on. Coming out the corners, we try to use the cutback technique to get back up the inside, however he's on the brakes coming out the corner to stop his car from moving off the line. So in the end, we had to settle for 6th place. An average meeting, but another 18 points on the board. It was time to load up and go home. As always, a big thank you to the sponsors who continue to support us. And a big thank you to you if you've made it this far in the video. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video.